It's Friday coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. Here we go, baby. Today we're going to bring this Frustrated Incorporated series to a conclusion, part 3 of 3. And just to recap, this series was predicated upon the most frustrating thing, in my opinion, that we encounter on a day-to-day basis in the processing of a loan and the underwriting of a loan, which is the assets. So, part 1, just to recap, part 1 was the earnest deposit check issues. Part 2 was the earnest deposit monies coming from a different account and gift funds coming from relatives, right? Good stuff. Part 3, we're bringing this baby home. Gonna cap it off, wrap it up, whatever you want to call it. And today, part 3, Frustrated Incorporated series. Let's get into it. So, the down payment monies, when they're coming from a different account. And what I mean by that is this. So, they're going to come from a 401k account or an IRA account or an online savings account. So when we begin the process, we get all your bank statements and your 401k statements and IRA, which is usually a quarterly statement. We get all these statements, all these asset statements up front, which is great. We'll send it through the gauntlet, through underwriting. That's great. We verify. Oh, yeah, perfect. But when the time comes, some people forget about this. Well, I'm going to be pulling the monies from the online bank account or the 401k or the online savings account or the 401k account. I'm going to be pulling those monies and putting them into the checking. So follow me here. We verify you got $1,200 in your checking account, you got $3,500 in your savings account, and you got $93,000 in your online savings account with American Express, or $93,000 in your 401k account with Fidelity or Charles Schwab. Obviously, there's not enough down payment monies come from your checking account, right? There isn't. So what happens if the loan officer doesn't catch this and the underwriter and processor doesn't catch this? On funding day, we get notified by the funder, hey, the buyer brought funds in to close from an account we haven't verified. What do you mean? Well, we had $1,200 in your checking account and they brought the $38,000 in from the checking account. It doesn't, something's not right here. Well, of course, because they transferred the monies from the 401k into their checking account. Look, that has to be sourced and documented. You've got to document that transaction. And sometimes people get frustrated. They get frustrated about this process. One, they weren't told about it up front. And two, even if you did tell them about it, why? Why do you've already verified I got $90,000 sitting in my American Express online savings account. You already verified I got $132,000 sitting in my Fidelity 401k. Why? Why do I have to show you the transferring all these monies going from my Fidelity account into my checking account? Because you have to. It's real estate. It's financing a mortgage in the real estate world in the United States of America. We have to document, paper trail as we call it in our industry. We got a paper trail those funds leaving your 401k and being deposited into your checking so that you could write a cashier's check or get a cashier's check or send a wire transaction from the checking account. So now we got to go back and we got to get a printout from the 401k showing the money's coming out and the new balance in the 401k. And now we got to get another printout from the checking account showing the deposit from the 401k going into the account. It's a pain. I get it. It's a headache. Well, and then you get the printout. Well, then the printout didn't have the URL on, which we're going to get into in just a second, baby. Hold on for the URL. What's a URL? Right? Hold on. So look, it can be frustrating. So hoping the video just prepares borrowers, lenders, realtors, whomever up front about the most frustrating thing about doing a home loan, in my opinion, is the assets. So Let's talk about that URL. What is a URL? It's just another name for a website, okay? So when we ask you for printouts, because you can't get a statement in the middle of a cycle, you can't get a monthly statement in the middle of a cycle, you can't get a quarterly statement in the middle of a cycle. We get that, everybody understand. Well, how am I going to get you the documentation? Here's how. We need a printout. A daily transaction summary printout, or a daily printout, or a transaction printout. They're all synonymous. They all mean the same thing. What needs to be on that printout? Here's where it gets frustrated, even more frustrated. But again, if you can coach them through it up front, help them through it, they can get it. Look, it's a feasible item to be retrieved. Other people get it all the time for mortgage transactions. But we hear this all the time. It's just not possible. Can't get it. You're asking for something that's not possible. No, it is possible. And you just got to take your time. And sometimes I tell my clients this, look, if you'd like me to do it for you and get it in 2 minutes, just give me your credentials to log in. And then when we're done, you can change your password. Not a problem. But I'll take care of it for you if you'd like me to. Not a problem. Not an issue at all. So here's what's needed. When you need a daily transaction printout, follow me here. Let's say your checking account cycled at the end of the month, the 31st of January, it cycled. Let's go December. December 31st, cycled. It's January the 18th. Obviously, the January statement isn't available. So I need a printout from the day of the last cycled statement, which is December 31st, to present day, current day. So that's the first thing. Second thing, on the printout has to be a running daily balance. Most of them automatically do it. Sometimes you got to click a button to get the running daily balance, right? Sometimes you just got to take a couple minutes and know how to retrieve the printout. It is feasible to be retrieved. Third, you need the URL, the website, and the website usually comes up at the bottom. Sometimes it'll come up at the top of the printout, okay? You have to capture the website. That is a verification process. Well, mine ain't doing it. Well, one of the reasons that it won't do it is maybe you're on a Mac. Sometimes it happens with a Mac. 2 is you're on a browser, it just doesn't support that. So go to Firefox or go to Google Chrome or go to Internet, change your browser. You'll get it. You'll get what you need. Another thing that has to be on the printout is your name. It's got to be your name. Now, they'll never give you the full account number on the printout. They'll usually X it out entirely or X out the majority of the account number, and that is okay. But they're the things that we need on the printout. If you cannot get this, and you don't want to give your loan officer the credentials for them to get it for you, you're faced with going into your banking institution and getting one. And when you go in there, now you open up a can of worms and they're going to probably solicit you to do your mortgage. So you got to listen to that blah, 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 blah as well. And if you go in, they're going to need to stamp. It's called a stamp. The little tiny stamp they'll put on the printout. And then they'll usually put their initials inside the stamp or beside the stamp. So that is an option that you can get. Sometimes people with credit unions, small credit unions, get into trouble in this neighborhood. So keep that in mind. That is an option. So here's some things that do not work, and these are the confusing things. Are screen prints. Sometimes I'll just get somebody a screen print. They hit the F8 or the F10, whatever the button is, and they screen print it. That does not work. You need a print out. And typically you could just go print into a PDF image. If you don't know how to do that, print it out and scan it. Or again, just let your loan officer do it for you. And that's why it's frustrating. I get it. People that are not tech savvy have a hard time with this. Totally get it. And that's why I'm putting the video together. Here are the things that are the most frustrating things in the process of doing a loan. 90% of the issues come around the assets or based around the assets of doing a loan. Now, additionally with the 401ks, you're going to be asked for what is referred to as the terms and conditions. I don't know what that is, can't find it, it's not on my website. Again, it is. Every 401k has a terms and conditions page or paragraph or clause that needs to be printed out as well. The underwriter is going to ask for it. Your loan officer may not ask for it on day one, but the underwriter at some point is going to ask for it. Basically, that's saying that your employer is allowing you to withdraw the funds, because not every employer does, not every 401k account does, so keep that in mind. They're not all the same. Don't assume that. Now that wraps up our Frustrated Incorporated series. Assets. Man, I'm telling you, that's it. Everything else is pretty much a breeze, a walk in the park anymore to do a mortgage transaction. But you're going to have to find a good loan officer that's going to be able to walk you through, handhold you through the frustrations of the asset. And guess what? Just because you bank at Wells Fargo doesn't mean that Wells Fargo is going to have an easier time dealing with your assets. It doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. They make you think that way. Well, doesn't happen that way. With that said, it's Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. 602-757-2171. Come on down today. We'll give you a deal.